everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com. It's right there. It's on the shirt. And in the seat, Dave Penning, Mr. Game 7 Baseball himself. We won't, because Schmidt's not here, so, you know, I mean.
Story of my life. Sorry, Dave.
Shots fired.
Game7baseball.com, folks. You can get all the upcoming events right here in front of your face. You go to the events tab right here. You got Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee. I'm looking at it right now. It's fantastic. World Series right here. Boom. Warrenton Athletic Complex, June 28th through July 1st. That's what we lead to, right? The big to-do. You guys got the Firecracker NIT right behind that. I like that. That was like a few years, gosh, that's been like 4 years back you did that. Because then you had the World Series after that because you were pushing, you know, and then it was, the dates were, and the Cardinals. And
Always based on that Cardinals home schedule.
And now it's kind of back to normal, right?
I wouldn't say that, but about as normal as you're going to get with us.
But we're looking at tournaments here, so folks, go to game7baseball.com. You get your team registered. They got the team rankings. You got the age calculator there, national points. You get national points. Talk about the national point system. We haven't done that yet, Dave.
Yeah, that's we put something out on Twitter a couple of weeks ago to let the people know who won last year's 2023 points, and it's all incentive based. We give away free tournaments, and the winner overall gets a free World Series and a bunch of swag, Game 7 swag, and some gift cards of that nature. So they were a 9U team out of Tennessee this year who took home that covenant prize.
There you go. Heck, who doesn't like free, right? I mean, free tournament, free World Series. I mean, that right there, that's some pretty good cash savings, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Little giving back. You gotta appreciate that, because obviously the more you play, the more points that you get, and ultimately at the end of the day, you have a reward for the next season.
I like this one myself. I've wore this one for quite a while. I have a red one around here. We got the Stars and Stripes one there, but this is still my favorite.
Looks good on you.
I think so. It's nice. It's kind of got that old Montreal Expos feel, with the different colors, right? That's old school stuff right there, bro. I always liked that hat. But this one, it fits.
I could bring that hat in if you'd like next time to show everybody, because I do have that hat.
Should.
With the red, white, and the blue.
That's old school stuff right there. Yeah, that's killer. But it's one of the more comfortable hats that I've received. I really like this one. So
I can tell. Can you tell?
I can tell.
Yeah.
He wears it a lot. You can see the sweatband on it.
Game7baseball.com right there on your forehead.
Just right there, folks.
That's what I should have did. It just went over to him and it was just like, right above the eyes, right here.
Right above the eyeballs.
Not too many put that on their forehead. I appreciate that.
I'm here for you, Dave.
Thanks, brother.
What would you do for a Game 7 tattoo?
Hey, now. It's a kid show.
Oh, I didn't mean that. Well, whatever.
Oh, mercy.
Try something
and the great thing here, when you're looking at, we're going to move on. The events, you've got turf events, Ballparks National, Ballparks of America, Branson Recplex. You got Warrenton Athletic Complex. Around here, we've got Ozzy's, BMAC, all the fun stuff. We're going to talk a little bit here real quick. There's progress being made. We got some pics that we're going to probably throw up here for you. And maybe a little video we'll add in as we go along here. But it's moving right along over there, Dave.
Yeah, we have a meeting every Tuesday morning out there, and it's really cool to see the process that what all's entailed. Because at the finished product, all you do is see the carpet on top of the field, but all the underlayment and all the good stuff, the drainage and all that, it's a really cool process to see. And we did get some rain, and it was tested a couple weeks ago. Not very much, but it did its job. You can see the rain, disperse off the fields, off the pebbles, if you will, that are on there now, and down the old drain pipe there, and it was really cool to see.
Oh, that's
They
neat.
measured it and see how much, so they're very happy with the way that they have it sloped or graded, and it's going to do well.
Very good.
So this area back here is basically production. They do a lot of the artwork back here. They do the production. So any of that stuff that comes in off of, let's say, our fanware stores, stuff that comes in off the team stores, a lot of the coaches wear, a lot of the last minute, hey, we got to have it in the next 10 minutes stuff. That's all comes back here. This area is where all the day-to-day stuff that comes in really goes through. The retail store is its own little entity. This is where the real work is done.
I guess we're going to find out a little bit more because I think we're expecting quite a bit of rain over the next weekend into Christmas.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
looks
4 straight days or 5 straight days. Of
Yeah,
rain.
starting Friday, I think it's supposed to rain through the weekend. So
Yeah.
At least it'd be in that form and not the snow and ice form, right?
Well, you get to see what the field is
I
about.
better not speak too loud, in
Right?
Yeah. And then you see all around the perimeter there, around the ring where the natural surface comes and meets the turf surface. That's where all your drainage pipe is buried, and it's all sloped to go drain down to one main drain there. And I posed a question to the project manager out there. I said, hey, hopefully this never happens, but what if we get something clogged there?
right.
It's really crazy how he answered it. They take a remote control car and put a camera on it and go down through the pipe. Because it makes so many turns, you can't just run a snake thing through there. They take a remote control car, put a video camera on there, and take it to there where it's clogged up.
And then what do they do? How does that get
They
cleared
show
up?
where exactly where the potential blockage would be. But hopefully, like I said, we never have to come through that without maybe 6-7 years down the road, maybe. But if it ever were to happen, that's how they troubleshoot it.
That's cool. So these are going to be turf infield, grass outfield.
Correct.
Okay.
And you can tell that the grass outfield surface is in really, really good shape.
It is. And this was taken, what, just a few days ago?
Yeah, I think it was on the 15th. And actually, I
pretty
was out
good.
there for last Tuesday meeting, and they were out there cutting the grass on December and Tuesday.
Yep. Just looking at that picture, you're like, wow, that's a nice spring view.
Yeah.
Getting ready to start playing games on it here in a couple weeks. But crazy how green it is.
Yes, they're doing a great job out there with it.
So we got covered dugouts here too as well, Dave.
Nothing but the best for you, Brian.
I love that. And I love the benches on there. So you got the big umbrella in the middle. Is that a concession stand or just a
That
gazebo?
right now is just like a gazebo, but like I said here, this is phase 1 for 2024. Phase 2 and 25, they're going to see a bunch more improvements as well.
So where's the entrance from here as we're looking at this, Dave?
There's one actually. So from up top, left to right, it goes A, B, C, D.
Okay.
Fields.
Yeah.
So there's one, you can see the walkway by the batting cage there. There's one heading north and south.
Yeah.
So the one that's heading north, there's a parking lot up there, which also leads to the top 2 fields, which would be the smaller fields up where we're going to have some 7U and 8U and 9U games going on as well.
So you got a little bit more look here at that gravel. That's the drainage part.
Yes.
And that's the most important part of it, isn't it?
Very important.
Because if the water's
where,
not draining off the turf, you still can't play.
That's right. That's right. And you don't want to drain it off into the outfield as well. So therefore, it's being caught by that perimeter that's working around there. That's drainage all through there. That's buried pipe all through there, and it runs right off into the pipe before it even hits the outfield.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So that's
that's
where all the
great
money's
shot.
going right there, fellas.
There it is. And there's the parking lot up top right there, what you were talking about
Yep.
there.
And then there's one where they're kind of storing the material, if you will, that leads right now down into the field. That road will not be there. That's just for construction purposes only.
Gotcha. Now, where is this? We're looking at this. Leave this picture right here for a few minutes here. So, Dave, as we're looking at this, coming off 70, where are we at here, bud?
All right, you come off 7, you head north.
Yeah, it's
So-
back that way.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the
That
picture,
way.
I guess it doesn't make sense. What I'm looking at, it's this direct.
So if you were to come in through there, these would be the first cutoff right there would be the first parking lot, which is near the soccer fields. There's a huge soccer complex out there as well.
Oh, wow.
That would be the first parking lot that you would come to. If you keep heading down, I guess it would be back, I don't know, east, I guess.
East,
yeah. So-
yeah, if you're heading east, and then you would come to another entryway. That would bring you up to the top parking lot there, up to the upper 2 fields.
So is that parking lot on the north side of the park?
That is
South side.
South.
This parking lot that we're referring to right now, where the material store.
No,
be,
the one on the opposite side,
that'd
where-
be
at
on
the top.
by east side.
That would be east of the fields. Like when you're making the entrance, it's south.
Gotcha.
So it's south of the soccer complex, right south of the concession stand.
What exit are we talking about there in Warrenton? Is it the one right downtown there?
17.
Yeah, what is it? Shoot,
That'd be
you
way
think
off.
I would
No,
know?
it's the
It's
opposite
the main. It's the main Warrenton exit right there as you get
The
off.
main
there.
Warrenton
Yeah,
exit?
47.
Yeah,
Okay,
47,
cool.
Then you
Yeah.
take that and head north.
And head north.
Head north.
Cool. So we're heading north, and then we get to the complex.
There is some signage out front that we're probably going to have to improve on that and get some out there because I've been out there every Tuesday so far and I still pass it.
Oh man, you can't pass it.
Oh,
'Cause
you
then
know-
you end up down in what? What's the next town down there? Hawk Point.
Yeah, you head up toward the Hawk Point up there.
Yeah, and you can't turn around necessarily.
The guy's driveway I use. Sorry about that, buddy.
He's like, I need a finder's fee for this. You found my driveway.
Well, this is cool, man. We're looking at this coming up. This is going to be what's the date this one's ready by? I know because a lot of the early stuff, I think it's great. You guys are.
Well,
down
we
at-
have Easter on tap for the first one there, so
There you go. That's
just
early.
left the meeting this morning, and knock on wood, everything is on or actually ahead of schedule. So the weather's been great. That's a key factor, key component that you have to have out there. Those guys are out there working hard at it.
Very good.
Looks good. Is that gravel on top or was that sand? Or a mixture?
That's gravel. They call it the finished product is called a chip. It's like a very fine ground gravel, but they can roll over it and crush it and grate it to where, and they're really fond of this quarry that they have lucked out and found these chips. It's called, and it looks like a very fine ground rock. It's like slivers that pack down really nicely, and then you can go ahead and crown it to make it to where, and actually this rain will help because some of the dust or the sediment that's in there would kind of help adhere all that and make it even stronger.
Almost turn into like a little bit of a concrete.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So when it did rain that time, they said it was working great because they knew because it was all a milky substance that was running through there that they needed to actually happen to get that off of there and kind of adhere to one another.
Nice. May I ask who's doing it?
Vernon Jones. They're doing a great job.
Like one of our, that's why I was asking was because one of their project managers, his daughter plays softball, and I see them up at the hitting zone a
Yeah.
lot.
Very good.
So
They're doing a
that's
great
us just
job.
being nosy.
Yeah. No,
So
great
let's-
communication. Those guys have been great.
So with that Warrenton, I want to look at this because it's something as I'm going through these things, you've got the G7 Wednesdays in Warrenton doubleheader league starting in April, going through May 22nd. Talk a little bit about that, Dave.
Yeah, what we had in mind for that is, tournament teams who want to, knock the rust off and get some work in. Practice fields are very hard to find. So we're like, let's shoot for a Wednesday. Therefore, people coming off a busy tournament weekend, can have Monday off, rest on Tuesday, come out and work on some things on that Wednesday, throw some guys maybe that maybe need to get some work, or get a guy in there and say, hey, you know what, we're going to pitch you this weekend. Let's go in and get a couple pitches in, see some live batters. And
Your
that's-
bullpen day.
That's our
Bullpen
whole
day.
premise.
It's bullpen day, baby.
Of that. Then coming off, Thursday, you're ready to start on Friday for the tournament scene.
Ah, that's cool. I like
And right
that.
now we have it set out for 13s and 14s because there are only 4 fields there, but we may open it up for another age group as well.
Cool. That'll be
Can I add
interesting.
a little bit to that too? Because on just my side, obviously, I've moved from that 14U age group now into the high school side of things. And I don't know if this is where you were going with it, but I like what he's doing with the high school scene too. Is he's doing the same thing with it's a tournament league. I don't know what you want to call it, but I like the ability as a high school coach that I could go on a Thursday and Friday and play. If I don't have games, if I take a weekend off, I could play Thursday and Friday for a really cheap, what I think is cheap. And I get 3 games or whatever. Is it 3 games? I think it's 3 games.
Yeah, he's referring to the
Yep.
tune-up series, which we have designated for Thursday evenings. The earliest game you would play would be like a 5, a 7, or a 9, something of that nature. We're not going to ask, I mean, although they're accustomed playing on Thursday day or early days, we're going to try to keep it to the evenings.
Yeah.
And then Friday day, you'll be playing during the daytime as well. But yeah,
So
3
is
games.
this like tune-up number 1, or is this?
It goes on throughout the whole. There's a series of them, but
But it
profoundly-
starts in May, right?
Yeah, just because the high school
school,
kids, they're ineligible to play until after that time. Some if they're on which means it's good because they're playing in for the state championship, which is great. However, unfortunately, all of us can't make it to the state championship, so some will be ready to play as early as that May 30th.
I would say
that we have
most of
slated.
them don't make it, Dave. No
Yeah.
offense, it's just the way it is.
Well, there's like, what, 20 teams? We only have 5 classes, right? Or we have 6?
6 classes.
Okay, so 24 teams going to make the state tournament.
That's right.
But I think that's cool to have a tune-up because it's not you're not committing to a league, so you don't have to commit to every week. And again, like I can play if I have $500-600 left in my budget. It's very hard to budget that in the high school scene because of the cost of events. And so I'm looking at that. And I'm going, oh man, I can sneak into this tune-up here and this tune-up there and
and
play games.
As you can see from it, you can't really tell it, but they're all full-size infields, so therefore they're all cut out the same. And we extended the turf section because 60-foot 6-inch pitching mound, you have to have 90-foot beyond that for the arc for your middle infielders to still be able to play at normal depth and not be on that transition from the natural surface to the turf surface. So
That's good
So
recognition.
you're
there.
playing these on a Thursday and Friday.
yes. And then what is it? The A, B, C, D field? It's 365 down the line. That's a man-sized field, buddy.
Really?
Yeah, it's big.
I'm gonna have to show off.
Let's see, Mitch, if you
See
can
if
get
I
it out of
can
there.
see if I can hit my weight. I don't weigh 365, but
It's a man-sized field, buddy.
Oh, mercy.
And then the others are 325 down the line, so they're all full-size fields. So
Oh, wow. I like that. So you got, and then the high school tune-up 6th through the 7th in June, and it keeps going through there. You got one June 13th, 14th every week there from there. So that's a great opportunity.
And if you want to filter through it really easily without filtering through all the states, you can just go up to the top and click on it says high school events or Warrenton athletic complex events. It'll prompt you to just all those. Therefore, you won't have to scroll through the whole list of tournaments, if you will.
So this is all the Warrenton. Yeah, when you go up to events, you go to each of these parks, correct? So this has all events, turf events, ballparks national, ballparks of America, and that's under events, the events tab.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's another breakdown of sifting through.
So if you want to look at what's happening at ballparks of America, click on that, and they're all right
Sure.
there.
Yep.
Branson Recplex, you got 3
Even though
events
that
there.
little black tab on the turf events is listed under all of our events that have turf naturally.
Right.
But you can go through it and sift through and then click on the events and then click on turf events. It'll bring up every turf event that we offer throughout the year.
And in Max Creek, Ballparks National, I like what you guys, starting off with March Madness there. The Easter Turf Classic, 42 Classic, Grand Slam at the Dam. I like that one.
The state tournament's doing really well in June.
Dude, that's we might have to go down there.
It's going to, actually some of the age groups are sold out. And then the Ballparks of America, Branson ones that are,
Cinco de Mayo at the lake is filling up there. It's getting a nice run. I like that. Mother's Day, you got the Lake Championship. This one looks cool. It's filling up. You got 18 teams registered. Got a lot of age levels there as well. State Championship, you already got 48 teams. I love this. There's 7 teams at the 13U AA level. You got a 13U Open. I like the Open. Jump in there, see if you can, Work it out.
We had to, I guess, simplify things, if you will, because if you're a good AA team and you're wanting to challenge your kids and get in that, we didn't want somebody to be the misconception of, oh, it's not offered as AA, but open, you can get in there by all means. Go ahead and challenge your kids that weekend and enter that division.
Absolutely. And because you have the AA events and then you have the open events. I really like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, Brian, because you'll see the A/AA, and the A program is beginning to flourish, especially when got something to announce for the next show. We're going to team up with the league out there in Warrenton, which is profoundly A caliber teams. So we're going to give them a little something to kind of build their league and character up on, and offer them a single A rec tournament out there as well. But if there are enough single A teams registered and AA in that division, we will split them from day one, from the start.
I think that's a fair thing. I understand you can't just do it, because there's two teams, right?
Yeah, and we can't list them all too, because it'll be a laundry list of probably 16 different or 18 to 20 different classifications on the website. And
right. It gets
people may get a little bored with that. And
wait a minute, my eyes are bleeding.
But no, we will do that. And heck, there's even been times where we had abundance of AA teams, and we went through and extract, okay, these are the higher end ones, the middler ones, and then the lower ones, and split them three ways from there from the start.
We're gonna, you don't have to answer this. I'd love to have your perspective, because we talk about this is part of the show, and from a director's standpoint, and I don't mean this in a bad way. It's just the things that I think are important in youth baseball right now. You talk about single A, AA, AAA, major. Dave, you see a lot of teams. How much difference is there between a single A, a AA, a AAA? Where are those things going? What do you see when you're out there?
Well, this is a business that is a customer service laden business. So times have changed throughout the years. As we were growing up, there was one age group, one division. We were still in cotton uniforms out there, getting a drink ticket or a meal ticket at the end of the game for a Slurpee or something, which we were ecstatic about, But no, times have changed, and to keep up with the changes, you have to develop a business method. And at the end of the day, these are still kids, and there is a big distance in talent, and we have to keep it fun for them. And 8U, 7U, we have them all machine pitched because we don't separate divisions there. However, once you start to get into the 9s through the 13s, we really focus on trying to do our best that we can to keep them separated, so everybody has a chance to compete at the end of the day, to keep it fun. But yes, there is a big difference. Especially that's our wheelhouse, the youth baseball market. But once you get into 14U, I say, I use this term lightly, the training wheels need to start to come off, and you need to start to prep them for all one, that next level. And that's what we're all about, prepping them for the next level. And at this stage of the game, it is the high school level. That's why we adhere to the high school rules. If there's something that's not covered in the Game 7 rule book, it defaults to the high school rule book.
That's the what is it?
National Federation High School book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
NFHS, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I've read that book
over and over.
Yeah, I've read it a few times because you have to be an official.
I just always defer to you guys because you guys are always smart and never wrong. So
I don't know about that.
Glad you read.
That was sarcasm.
I'm just glad he recognized that now.
Anything for our Dodgers fans over there.
How about that, Ohtani, huh?
What a deal.
Glass now, huh?
What a deal. What a deal.
He deferred all of his money.
Most of it.
What, 90-something%?
Well, it's not like he ain't making some cash on the side.
I'm sure he's getting plenty.
It's not like it's. Anywho, we'll come back to that.
We just, something. This is random. So I didn't know this. Did you know that Bernie Madoff took the Mets to the wood shop over the Bonilla deal?
They're still paying Bonilla.
Yeah, but it's completely separate. So the Mets had invested that money that they were saving for Bonilla into Bernie Madoff. Bernie
blew it.
Madoff lost all that money, so
He
the
blew
Mets
it.
had to take out loans to pay these contracts. And so, like, I'm thinking, I was like, I surely hope,
I
because
never heard that before.
I didn't either, and so I had to look this up because
He did jail time.
the person that said this to me, I was like, I didn't envision that person identifying that this was an issue.
Well, it's the Guggenheim Group that owns the Dodgers, and they're an investment group, so you hope their investments don't go in the toilet.
That's what I was going with. So I was like, man, I really hope that they don't screw that one up, because that is a ton of money to screw up.
Ooh, boy.
See, that's what we're doing here at Game 7, prepping these young men so they can make this kind of money.
I
We're
like what
putting
you did
them
there.
in a place to succeed.
Yeah, baby.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why we do the divisions.
And I think that's a great point, because, you know, that's what we talk about. We just did our coaches clinics. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate Coach Perkins, Coach Sissel, Coach Horn, Coach Canavan, and Coach Mulder for taking the time to work with these dads coming out, talking about drills, working towards building these foundations to high school, because the player is the key. And do you have a team that is a mix of AA, single A? Do you have a team that's all AA? And where does that break over? And I think that's the question sometimes. And I think that's where it's a difficult proposition sometimes for a tournament director when you got these teams and the team comes out and they go, oh man, we just getting our butts kicked everywhere. Well, I understand, but sometimes it's a learning experience. And what are you doing to get better? And if you're in a AA, and I liked what you said about those separators, bringing that into that single A, I think that's cool, Dave.
Yeah, there's we like to have a spot for everybody to play, because especially with the addition of the park out there and where it's located, we want to be able to give back to that community too, because they're helping us out. We're partners with those guys out there, and we look forward to unleashing some of that information here in 24 when we get all those I's dotted and those T's crossed.
And I think you would probably agree with this, that a majority of the teams that are playing youth baseball in tournaments and whatnot are of the AA variety.
No doubt. I mean, especially in the Midwest here. That's my opinion, humble opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
Right.
But if you look on there, you can see all the teams that are in the database. Just click on, teams, and you can search them and see who's all in there. And it's pretty much profoundly AA teams.
And to that point, we talk about this a lot. I don't mean this in a bad way. There's some really good AA teams. And that doesn't make you a bad team. It just makes you where you're at in the development process, talent-wise, because we go out and we watch a lot of baseball, and I see teams that are able to execute well, teams that can't really execute well, defensively, this, that. What separates a team from a AA to a AAA, and how do you do that?
Oh, it's all in the pitching, in my opinion, because
That's a great
it's
point.
what your depth in the pitching staff is what really determines it, from my eyes. Because there's some dudes on a AA team that you're going to know, and the AAA major guys are looking and trying to cherry pick them off there when the game's over. But no, there's some really good talent out there, and like you said, any given day. That's why baseball is such a great game, because if they've got their guy out there on the mound, they can take on anybody. It's a game of inches. Look at some of our Branson tournaments, the ones that are filling up there. That's all AAA major teams. So
Yeah.
It's literally case by case. So it's a mixed bag of tricks for us. But to answer your question, the number wise, there's more AA teams. And that goes for any sanctioned body event here in the Midwest. I think the numbers are in the AA market.
That's just a large population in general across the country.
You're right.
Is that parents, and I'm not trying to specifically pick on parents, and some of the coaches, obviously, they get the pushback if my son's a AAA or my daughter's this, or, and this is what you have to deal with. And I get players, and I'm like looking at them, I'm going, this kid's not a next level athlete. Like, it's a good player, which
Right.
if I had, and we didn't have this when I played, right? We had Juvie 1, Juvie 2, and if you won
National
your league,
Blue,
yeah,
right,
if you
yeah.
won your league, you had to play in this one. If you didn't, you played in this one. We had always two, so that it remained a competitive nature. So you played your levels. Well, one year we would win that bottom division, but we could never win the top division. So the next year we would move back down to the lesser division and win that one again and have to move back up. And then we always did that. We never could get over the hump. All of those athletes went on to play college baseball. And so just because you are a AA guy doesn't mean that someday you hit this growth spurt and become something. I've watched this happen coaching at Timberland, and people have talked about what they were as 13 and 14-year-olds, how scrawny, how small these kids were, or how weak a kid was athletically. Then all of a sudden one day developed into this monster, grew 10 inches, and found the weight room. And next thing you know, they're throwing 90 plus miles an hour. And it's ultimately how much you're working. AA kids probably aren't working as much because they play secondary sports, and so parents have to say, hey,
Balance
you can only do 2 days here because you're playing 5 days a week, basketball or whatever the case may be, and
that's okay.
That's just what you have to deal with. But if you want to be better, you have to work every day.
Yeah.
And so that changes. We watched people be behind and they go to work and they catch up.
Yeah.
But the people that were better athletically stopped working as much.
They kind of fall back into the
kind of fall
pile.
back down.
That's just it, Mitch. You alluded to the multi-sport athlete, and here in St. Louis, soccer is a huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's a huge sport. So that is a major contributor to some of these, and I get it, but just take a look at some of our open events that are ran as open. You'll see AA teams mixed in with the AAA and / major teams, and
Do you remember the mistake I made like 3 years ago with my 14U when I went down to Branson, right?
But
wood
look,
bat?
yeah, but still, that's where I'm going with this. Some of those AA teams,
Do
you're not
well.
going to know until you actually get in there and push them.
That's right.
And they end up in that top part of the bracket because they beat the AAA or major team, and
I loved your point about pitching, and I would encourage this, and I think this is something that we maybe should look at, and especially coming off this coaches clinic, listening to these coaches talk about pitching. Everybody knows. I mean, we're talking about this right now. We're looking at the high schools, and you got dudes in some of these schools. You got 3, 4, 5 deep dudes pumping. And it's what you said. You got this AA team that's got a kid comes out on the mound that just can beat you by himself. And especially at a 10, 11, 12, even 13, 14 age level, doesn't matter AA, this kid's can pitch. And I think what you said there, the differentiator between that AA, AAA, and how do you move competition is pitching. Can you compete on the mound? And I think it would behoove some of these teams to take a look at that, maybe expand a roster, maybe not have 10 teams, break that down and put kids in position to be able to pitch, take a day off, arm care, those types of things. But you might have more AAA teams at that if you're expanding that pitching.
Well, again, we don't use the cookie cutter format for our weekends. It's
Right.
all solely based on the number of teams, field space allowed. So therefore,
I understand that.
you as a coach are going to have to be proactive and look at that format for that
Gotcha.
given weekend.
Yeah.
Because we try to set up every event to, hence our name, Game 7. We want every game to be played like it's Game 7 of the World Series. We want every game to mean something. By that, we're trying to avoid the sandbagging theory, but there's some cases to where there's X amount of teams and the only format we could use is,
Pool play and
pool play,
everybody
then
play.
everybody goes. So if that's the case, maybe you look at that and say, okay, as long as I don't finish the 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, I got a shot at winning this thing because now I'm set up for Sunday. Because that's the thing, it's the long haul. You may play 5 or 6 games over a 2 or 3 day span. That's where your pitching depth comes into play. Whereas if you're like in high school, those games are allocated and spread out. If the weather's good, you're not playing back-to-back days. On some cases you are, but you're not playing 5 games in a 2-day stretch.
No, you're playing
Tournament baseball, very different.
Yeah,
Correct.
tournament base, and that's why I think it's even more so important to have those extra arms, and especially at this age level, when you're developing, because then the kid gets out into, he's playing shortstop because he's the best player. He's your pitcher. He's just threw 70 pitches. Now he's going to play shortstop. And it's tough. I think it's a tough gig. And I understand the coaches and their thought process. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bagging on anybody. It's just what we do. It's what we've been doing for a long time.
Oh, no. And then our software, I'll boast and brag about that. It's very up to date. Our directors put that information in right away. The pitching is seen by everybody. The scores, it'll tell you where you're at as soon as the scores come in. So I tell you, who's really getting abreast of the situation and privy to it as well is the parents. They're well acclimated and well rehearsed, and know, hey, they'll pull the coach. If we give up one more run, it's going to dump us down to this. So, or this kid on the mound, he can only throw one more inning, and then he's got to come out. So, there are a lot of eyes and ears out there, and so yeah, they're getting educated as well.
I must admit, in I think it was 2010, we were playing way back. That's back in the day. My 14U team was playing in the USSSA World Series. It was probably the tightest game. It was tied 5-5. Okay, and
he left somebody in too long.
My scorekeeper, he kept track of all those things for me. No, he kept track of all those things for me. And he says, Brian, he comes to me and he says, this kid on the mound, who he was pitching well.
For you?
No, for them. Was pitching very well.
I know where you're going with this. All right. And you didn't want to be that guy.
He comes up to me and he says, he's got one more inning or something like that, whatnot. So, boom, I was like, okay, good. We're not going to see him the next inning. I was like, fantastic. I'm pleased about that. I don't want to see this kid anymore. Sure enough, the kid walks out on the mound. I was like, what? And recorded it out. I sent him over to I sent my scorekeeper to the tournament director. He comes over and I said this, and they looked, they did that, forfeit.
Yeah,
that's the way it is, man.
Our rules are a little
I know
bit
that
different.
sounds terrible. People go, oh, Brian, that's terrible. Hey.
Oh, no, that's worse than terrible.
We ended up winning the whole thing.
Though? You know what? It's in the rules.
That was in a pool play game.
A reason. And
yes.
The things about, and this is not, please, any director, don't take this the wrong way. Maybe you will because I said it. But it is designed for these things to happen.
Yes.
If you put these rules in place, they can be used. Whether or not you have the mentality to use it or your ego is too big and you want to pump your chest, if I can't beat him this way kind of thing, whatever.
Well, that wasn't
in the rules.
But I was glad to see him go.
Well, I've been in games where we've gotten beat really bad and then beaten teams really bad, and all it's geared towards is I need to score so many runs so that I don't do this. Mm-hmm. I can't give up this many runs, so I don't do that. And it changes things because as old school values, you ran up the score, you got hit the next time you played. And one of the things about these youth sports is you typically see a lot of the same teams every single weekend. I know teams come in that are different, but there becomes rivalries. And, if you did that to a team, you got hit. Like, it's just baseball, right? It's just a different time frame. And nowadays it's like, oh, well, we need to score 10 runs. So I'm just going to keep running and take advantage of the catcher who's dog tired.
But you know what? You as a coach will not forget that the next time you play.
I don't. Right. I get I still have that ego thing that says we need to take care of the kids.
Yeah,
like you don't need to demoralize the athlete. Like
100%.
If I'm not competing hard enough and you're that much better than me, beat the sleeves off me.
But going back to that point originally and why, we did that. It was a forfeit. There's the rules. They put these things in rules. And I've seen coaches lose their mind about, hey, that's the rules, man. You should be aware of that when you walk into a tournament. There wasn't a tournament I didn't go into that I didn't take my time, go through all the rules of that particular company, and then at the bottom, they usually say the rest of everything is either high school or American League or whatever the case may be. And then you're like, okay, fine. But I know that I can only do this per this tournament company. And I think that's what's important is we're talking with Dave here. And when he talks about these things, that's an important part of the game.
That's music to my ears, because I wish more coaches would take the time out to read the rules. And I get it. Game 7 is an option for you to play. We're not dictators. We're not salesmen. If you like our brand, you like our product, you know where to find us. Come play us. We'd love to have you. However, we realize that there are other choices out there.
Yeah.
And there are other sanctioning bodies. There are other tournament companies in the area. But once you go even do yourselves and their tournament directors justice, please read the rules, whichever event you go to from weekend to weekend, because they are different. For instance, case in point, we put a max of 7 runs on our, we do not offer runs scored as one of our tiebreakers to avoid kind of running up the score.
There you go.
And we cap it off at 7 max for your run differential. The case in point that we alluded to where the gentleman overused his pitcher. In our rules, we don't want to penalize the actual team, in this case, the kids. So in our rules, we have the coach ejected from the game.
And it doesn't forfeit the team.
Correct.
I like that. I don't have and honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I just didn't want to see that kid on the mound anymore.
Well, no, and plus there's rules in place for a reason. USSSA thought at that point that they were protecting the player for
Pitch
not
counts.
overuse.
Right.
And shame on the coach, on the opposing coach, for doing that, because it was a great game.
So
he should have been deep enough, right, to throw out another arm. He should have been paying attention. That's a lack of coaching on his end. You just took advantage of what you were able to. And really, at the end of the day, that's what we do as coaches.
Yeah.
If kids are sitting out there giving signs like this and they're 3 feet away from their knees, why wouldn't my second base runner give a sign away? It's not cheating.
No.
Cover up your signs. Do your job to change them up so that they don't see them. It's the competitive advantage.
If my player sees that, I'm not going to, as a coach with youth baseball and the kids, I'm not going to take advantage of that and say, hey, he's throwing this. I'm not going to do that. That's not what we're here for. And that would be taking advantage. But if you're, like you said, if a 12-year-old or 11-year-old is smart enough and it's like, coach, he's throwing signs, I can see it, then
Talks amongst your team.
Yes.
I tell my kids, make the decision on your own. If you see that and you want to do that I'm not going to tell you to do that. If you want to try
gamesmanship.
It is. That's all it is. It's the game in between the games, right?
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do we have so many different
part of the
things, to try to not get people to know your signs?
And now coaches, are using the armbands a lot and calling out numbers, and that's okay.
We got PitchCom for youth sports now. So
I know, I saw that. That's a little.
I actually don't like either one.
I'm sorry.
I don't.
We'll save that for another day.
I don't like either one of them. Just letting you know that. I will tell my kid to bunt out loud.
What are you doing? I don't need to give you a sign. Just bunt it.
I do. I tell them all the time. I'll get the kid that's got like 2 strikes and looks at me. And I'm like, what do you want me to give you? A bunt sign with 2 strikes? That makes sense.
If you're watching,
give him a hit sign.
And we're going to do this. I want to finish off the segment this way because January 5 and 6. It's January 5th is the date. Friday night, 5 to 7. Tell the folks what's going on.
Yeah, we're heading over to the Kansas City side of the state with YBM to do our winter workout tour. And on the way there, we're going to have a meet and greet for all of our coaches on that side of the state. It'll be at Johnny's, pretty cool place that they have a room set aside for us. It'll be from 5 to 7. Come on in. We're going to have a little food and drink for everybody that attends, and we're going to raffle off a free tournament, Brian.
What?
Free.
Get right out of
Coming
town.
straight out of Dave Schmidt's pocket.
Dave's going like, I can't miss any more shows. I'm getting.
Yeah, it's been successful for us. We've been doing it a while, and like you said, we have a good time on the road with you guys, meeting new people. But we're going that far on that side of the state, so we're kind of incorporate the meet and greet at the same time. So,
and then we're gonna even make Dave a little more famous. We're gonna put him in front of the camera. We're gonna be at the Mac and Sites facility on Saturday morning, video in there, and then we're heading over to Inside Edge, U.S. Nationals Edge training is where it's at, their facility for a stop. We got a couple of tour stops there. So I love it, man. A meet and greet. We get to mingle with the coaches, talk to them. We'll probably get some video of the coaches talking and chatting up. We're looking forward to that. So put it on your calendar.
Yeah, and be on the lookout for an email for coming. And then I know Mike's been working hard calling some of the people and telling them and making them aware of it. And because we get a good draw for our Branson events and our Lake of the Ozark events from teams on that side of the state. Now incorporate Warrenton in there. It's a little bit closer to the St. Louis side for them. So hop, skip, and a jump away from them.
Yep, there's definitely enough hotels in Warrenton to stay.
Well, if not Warrenton, you got Wentzville, then you got before there, and then they're also putting up 2 new hotels that'll be ready to go in 25.
Really?
Sure.
Warrenton's
Game 7
growing, man.
Palace, buddy.
Game 7.
Game 7 in.
Should we call it?
7 stories high, rooftop bar. May not be all that, but give you some thought
I'm
to
gonna guess
that.
you'll be driving a G7 to this event too. You're gonna
I'll be
give away
staying
one of
right
those?
there in Warrenton.
It ain't even far from probably where you live. Warrenton's what, 20? It's about 18 miles from Wentzville to Warrenton.
Well, you're the first person there and the last one to leave, and it gets a little. I don't want to be on 70 upside down.
Nope.
No.
You don't have to be.
Just
Nope. That's why we'll be moving the Game 7 headquarters out that way.
You have plenty
On
of
Schmidt's dime
ground
again.
on Schmidt's dime.
Yeah,
Schmitty,
I'm
thank
spending
you.
all his money, buddy.
Can I get a room? I could be closest to the exit.
and that's true because we're hoping maybe we get in on that a little bit, a little studio action out there.
Yeah, it's not
have
that.
some fun, some baseball.
All fun aside, it's not that far at all.
No,
from
it's
the
not.
Game 7 headquarters, which is at 270 in Dorset Road, 270 and 70 essentially. I get out there in 38 minutes because I do it every day on Tuesday to get out there to go for our 8:30 meetings.
You drive anyways. Baseball is destination.
Yeah.
It's always a destination
Yeah,
thing.
it is
You might-
destination.
Teams might, or players might want to stay local. Families might want to stay local to an area, in St. Charles County, St. Louis County, whatever. But if you're driving into Chesterfield, if you're driving into Illinois, you're driving into O'Fallon, it takes me 15 minutes to get to Ozzy's from my house. It takes me 15 minutes to get to Warrenton. It's
Yeah.
just different because most of these highway ones, I got to go through the neighborhood. So 15 minutes is 15
Not a
minutes.
bad drive at all. And then, what's so unique about that is we hope to draw some people from that west side, like the Kansas City side, the Columbia, the Jeff City people. That's only, not too far from them.
Yeah, Mexico, Missouri,
Yeah.
Montgomery City. You have all the small towns in between, Hannibal,
Right.
and that need a place to play because the competition in those towns are not
It's
what
not.
they can get.
Yeah, it's smaller.
Yep.
It's a smaller amount of teams, exactly. So you get a chance to go some other place and challenge yourself. Again, I always say this. You can go. Saw this comedian say you can go around the corner and get your butt kicked. Right? If you're going to travel, do it for the right reasons. Go have some fun, enjoy it. You're going to see different teams. Use it for that bonding, that time. It's what we can do with youth sports. Have some fun with it. Enjoy the experience. Come out, play some ball, swim in the pool, all that kind of stuff, right?
That's right. I'm on red here. Can you still hear me, Drew?
you were fine.
All right. We're still hot.
Red
As
means
long
on.
as it's red. If it starts blinking and goes out, we're done.
I'm jumping over to your mic. Because my voice has to be heard here.
Well, we're done anyway, Dave.
Be careful how close you get.
We're done anyway.
He's a Dodgers fan.
That was good stuff.
okay.
Oh my gosh, man! What
I tried to say that quietly so he didn't hear me.
Oh, that's not that.
My voice carries too
It
much.
carries. Hey, I grew up a Dodger fan.
I don't care. I love baseball.
Yeah,
and what the
I do
Dodgers
too.
are doing. So
I'm sorry.
I'm actually rooting
okay.
against
Since you
them.
brought it up, I'm sorry, but what the heck is this Cardinals organization doing? It doesn't seem like they have a clue anymore what to do with this team.
Hey, they hired
You can say
Yachty.
what you want to. The team, the guys, the players, they have good players. Their pitching staff was a little underwhelming last year, sure. Everybody knows that. But dang, What are they? What is that front of the house doing, man? That organization doesn't have any identity, or it doesn't seem like they have any direction whatsoever.
Big comeback in 24, Brian. Big comeback. They're going to take over the Dodgers.
You see that thing right there that you got in front of your face, that computer?
Yeah.
That's how they evaluate baseball.
I understand. There's a lot of teams doing that.
No, not. There's still some eye test guys. There's a reason why we see teams have these great regular season runs, and then they get into the playoffs and can't coach their way out of a wet paper bag.
Well, that's, the Dodgers been there.
That's why I brought that up. But you saw a guy like Bruce Bochy who manages.
Oh, I love Bruce Bochy.
Who manages the game between the lines and on the computer.
Yeah.
Because we love information.
Absolutely.
But you cannot
But then he
Moneyball
went
didn't
with his
work for
gut.
the A's.
When in those last few, the pitchers, he went with his gut. There's guys
Stayed with
dealing,
them.
stayed with them. You got to, we're going to ride or die, right?
Yeah, I was happy for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, I was too.
Well,
Again,
Bruce
folks,
Bochy.
for all you watching, these are strictly opinions, not affiliated with Game 7 baseball. Because the Cardinals, I still love you, buddy. You are our partner, win or lose.
Oh, I see what he did here.
And they are.
And we love you. I think you're the best. Number one in my book and my heart. Big rebound this year.
They will. They will be better
Sorry,
than they were
Dave.
last year.
Hey, that's all right. A lot of people don't know the history. You're a California boy, but, don't go hating on my Cardinals.
I'm not hating on them. I'm just wondering what the front office is doing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I
something
didn't
else
say that.
there.
I was like, holy smokes. I was like, this guy. There
Ugh.
goes
I like
the
it.
production
Listen,
company.
You better wind this down. Let's go on.
I like the Cardinals too. I really do. I've always liked the Cardinals. I think it's one of the class organizations of Major League Baseball. I mean, when you look at World Series wins, they're the only one close anywhere near the Yankees, and it's the Cardinals with 11 World Series championships. I mean, they are the standard in the National League as far as World Series are concerned. Nobody's close to them.
Yep.
So
It's just confusing what they're doing right now.
I think it is, and I think it's a shame.
Well,
Personally,
and then they hire, Molina to get some operations, whatever, help, whatever he's doing there, player management thing. And I'm thinking that is two opposite ends of.
with Marmol, yeah.
Well, no, with the front office, with Mo.
Yeah.
Like you having Yachty come in here to help with player development or player operations, and you have Mo in here. I'm thinking that's two different sets of people.
We got crazy, didn't we, Dave?
Well,
right.
that's good talk, though, because
right.
ultimately all these kids that play Game 7 baseball want to be a Cardinal.
That's
right.
That's right. And you know what? And that doesn't mean these guys are bad people or horrible. There's a lot of nice people we've met, we've talked to them and whatnot in the Cardinal organization. I'm sure Mr. Mozeliak is a very nice man.
His kid played in Game 7 events.
There you
Comes
go.
out.
There you go.
It's older now,
It's
but-
not that. This is just I don't understand it. I don't.
As a fan of baseball, it's confusing with the resources.
Yeah. That's all.
And as a paying customer, you're entitled to that opinion.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. And
Absolutely
Dave,
right.
we hope it is a big comeback.
Oh, it will be. Trust me, buddy.
2024
We're going from the
Cardinals
outhouse
going
to the
to
penthouse.
World Series. World Series bound.
Let's just win the division first.
Hey,
That's the penthouse. And then we'll see where we go from there.
Let's go visit the White House, I guess.
As always, it's fun to talk baseball with Dave Penning.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having me
it, buddy.
on. Mitch, it's
Absolutely.
good seeing you again, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. It's duck hunting season, I know. I'm surprised you made it in.
Well, I mean,
It's true.
I got my corn-colored clothes on.
Corn. You been in the corn?
Yeah, hunting flooded
crib?
corn.
Yeah, there you go. He's camouflaging in the cornfields. And farmers yelling, "Get out of my corn!"
No, they let me.
There's a duck.
I paid for that stuff, so they're like, we just got done making $200 a bushel on corn, so why don't I just charge you a couple $1,000 and go hunting it?
There you go.
Just clean up your mess.
Nothing wrong with that.
Pick up the hulls. Pick up my gear. Have a good night.
There you go. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing everybody on the Kansas City side over there for the meet and greet. We're looking forward to it. Everybody, if you like what we're doing, please remember, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Hit the dinger next to it because that's what we do around here.
That's what we do. 365 feet down a line, field D.
There you
So
go.
you're going to have to get into it.
That's what I'm talking about. That gets you all your notifications for upcoming episodes such as this. We appreciate it. We got some merch on the website. Go check out our merch store. Help support what we do here, along with these fine people from Game 7 Baseball. We appreciate their partnership. Been since 2017, and we are looking forward to it into the future.
Appreciate you having me on, Brian. All our customers out there, like Brian said, look forward to seeing you in Kansas City. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Have a safe and happy holiday season. We're going to talk to you after the new year, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll see you next year.
See you next year. Good one.
Always a pleasure, my man.
Yes, sir.
Folks, we'll see you next time.
Hey, pitchers do what?
Oh,
Pitchers.
he already killed it. No?
No,
You're right. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead because there's always a
quirky
thing
throw
that
in there.
happens. You're a pitching guy. I am not.
I messed it up, didn't I?
Yeah.
All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. Hitters,
Bring the fans to the stands. I wanted to crush that.
I'm sorry, man. I messed up your world. We'll
I
see
was
y'all-
thinking about that
got
the
it,
whole
man.
time. I was like, the whole show.